The new Climate Change Act in Northern Ireland was passed just before the Assembly closed, before the elections. It's a really exciting opportunity for Northern Ireland because it's the first time we've had our own climate change legislation here. So the Act, it hasn't taken effect yet. It's waiting on royal assent, but it seems likely that's going to happen pretty soon. So the Act is quite technical in many ways and it sets out a number of different targets, but the headline target is that Northern Ireland is legally committed to net zero by 2050. Now that's net zero for carbon dioxide, and the Act also has an individual target for methane of 46% reduction, and that's different than the rest of the UK and Ireland, which set out 100% net zero. And the reason for that is because Northern Ireland is such a large agricultural industry, and this is supported by the Committee on Climate Change, who feel that it is appropriate that there's a lower limit here. Now the parties in Northern Ireland did have some political wrangling around this, but it was decided that this seemed a fair way to deal with it. The Act also sets out a separate target for renewable electricity, and that's been set at 80% by 2030 from all electricity in Northern Ireland to come from renewable sources. And that is quite exciting because Northern Ireland was already committed to 70%, and that's been increased to 80%. Now, that doesn't sound like a huge amount, but actually when you think about it, what that involves is an extra 1,400 megawatts of electricity from renewable sources to be constructed in Northern Ireland in the next 7.5 years. And just to put that in context, the average size of a solar farm or a wind farm in Northern Ireland historically has been about 25 megawatts. So that means we need to build about 50 wind farms or solar farms in the next 7.5 years, which is actually quite a lot of work. But again, that also brings real opportunities for Northern Ireland to create green jobs and green growth, which is really exciting. The Climate Change Act puts an obligation on government departments to create what they call sectoral plans. And those are plans for individual sectors that are quite hard to decarbonise. So if you work in an industry that is carbon intensive, it seems likely that there will be quite a lot of change coming down the track soon. The government departments will be required legally to give you some support through that transition, but also businesses should be ready to make their own investment and make their own changes.